Hey guys, Fearu again. This is going to be episode 5. If you haven't watched episode 4, please go back and watch it because they, while the lesson today is going to be a little bit different, it's going to be it's going to be the same game that occurred in episode 4, just the tail end, and we're kind of brought into a new situation. So let me just update you if you haven't seen it real fast. Basically, what has happened was we're in a game and we have pretty much sound control. Pub trained our way along, took almost all of the towers. I think we have one tier 2 tower waiting at the top for us. And we've gotten into a couple of engagements where we weren't exactly planning on it. And what's happened is my team's starting to rage at each other. In particular, we have this Rampage who's getting mad at this MOA, who's just like, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go. And we need to group up and we need to push. How many times have you guys heard that? We need to group up. We need to group up and we need to push. That's often everyone's go-to strat, but that's not always the best thing to do. So real fast, especially this is just to clarify, we're talking about that 1550 to 1650 bracket and what needs to be executed. Now, when you see people pushing up mid, do you TP? Like if you see them going towards your racks? The answer is probably for about 80% of you, yes. Everyone somehow sees that. That's a universal signal. Hey, there's going to be a big fight at our racks. They're going to push and they're going to try to take it. Now, they're we all see them. They're there. Now, what's funny is if there are 5 heroes missing on your minimap, everyone's still going to continue to just do their own thing. And that's something I never really understood, and kind of what the lesson is here today, is that when you don't see your enemies, you have to assume whatever enemies you don't see could be next to you. I mean, there's only so many possibilities. Either, let's say you see like, your bottom, and you see their carry farming top. Well, that means 4 heroes are missing. Let's say one's in mid. Okay, now there's 3 heroes missing. And you're farming bottom. You have to assume that all 3 of those heroes can be there, and you need to make sure that, depending on where you have vision, that if they came at you, you could defend yourself or at least escape. And so many people just don't do this, and that's the biggest issue. So basically what I'm trying to tell my team, and I'm going to bring you straight into game, but just to give you a rough idea, is they all want to push mid and just be like, we need to group up and we need to push. I'm going to be like, no, that's not what we need to do. We're just going to do this. I'm going to get us vision. I'm going to plant some vision in their jungle, and we're going to execute a team fight there instead of pushing up into a little choke where they can all see us and they have vision as well. And this is kind of what proceeds to happen. Okay, so here we are in game, and you will see that we again have no vision. I know this is an issue. I know exactly what I want to do. Basically, I'm going to put down 2 wards in their jungle, get vision, and I'm basically... ideally, this is what happens. I put 2 wards in their jungle. I make sure they don't have wards down. I don't believe they have wards now. And then I sit in their jungle for a little bit looking for a pick. If I don't find it, I have one person, and this is really, really important. You have one person push the lane. Why do you have one? Well, kind of like I said before, if you have everyone push a lane, it's universal for, they're pushing. But if you have one person push and there's 4 people missing from the minimap, everyone's like, oh, it's just one guy, let's go kill him. And then some silly 1500 runs up into the jungle to try to like cut off that one guy in the lane, and oh, there's 4 heroes there, boom, and he's dead, and then you have a 4v5, which is a much easier push. So I'll kind of proceed as to what's going to happen here. Again, my perspective. So just kind of to reiterate what has happened was this Rampage is just pretty mad and thinks we need to push up. I'll speed this up here a little bit. MOA's been free farming most of the game. I'm not concerned with anyone. Quick one-shots. And now I'm going to go into the jungle and kind of get get what I said needs to be done. I put the standard ward there and the standard ward here, I believe, yeah. And Rampage is going to be like, no, we need to push. And he's going to get kind of mad at me. I believe Blue pings me. Like, he's been saying over voice chat this whole time, hey guys, we need to push. We need to push up mid right now. But where do you think their team is? Their whole team sees this coming. They're waiting right here in this choke, you know? Why, if their team is willing to come and, you know, if I have, you know, let's just say MOA push this lane and come all the way up, and their team is willing to fight me right here, or maybe even over here, like let's say I'm waiting, let's say they have a ward here, right? Let's say they're playing like good players, and my team like kind of hides behind this tree, and MOA starts pushing, they're gonna come up, and when they do, we'll pick them off. Whereas if we all push up right here, we're dead. Well, we're not dead, but it's just a lot harder of a fight. And they know what's coming, and as opposed to we know what's coming and they don't, and they're out of position, this is one where it's going to come down to just play, and we want to take every advantage that we can. So again, I kind of have to like take control. I believe I get pinged here. They're like yelling at me. I'm like, yeah. They're just like, hey. I'm like, no, don't push mid. Don't do it. It's not the right play. I see Bushwhack does not have vision. Like, I'm 1000% sure. He caught me there, but just from natural sight. And right here, I also look to see if any of them have wards. Always check that. Make sure they don't put anything here. I know they didn't put ward. Now look. Okay? Oh, Orange even knows. He's like, hey, what are these doofuses doing? They don't have vision. They just decided to run up. So this is like prime. This is what I was looking for. We did it, and now this should be easy execution. It's 1500, and I think I mess up here pretty badly myself. I play poorly, but this is a lot better fight than if we would have pushed here. So I'll let this kind of proceed. I believe Bubble's gonna initiate with the silence and just easy pick. Dead before the silence is over. Now they're all here. And now it's a 4v5. Okay, so I messed up really bad right there. So, this is kind of a separate issue. I just wanted to handle the, you know, don't force yourself into a hard fight when you have an easier fight available. But I kind of just want to yell at this because it's a bad play that I need to fix myself. Like, this was a bad play. Bad play. Right now, as Parasite, I'm playing really badly. I'm like, oh, I can almost one-shot him. And I'm just like, gotta use my spells. And as opposed to backing off and casting Codex from afar, I mean, Codex with its fucking 1,000 range. I mean, I can literally cast anyone, back off, wait till it's off cooldown, and go in again. Instead, I face hug. And the issue is when you face hug, everyone and their mom's just gonna jump on you, and unless you have a creep to get out, you're just gonna insta-die. And I don't get, instead of getting like 2 casts to Codex off, especially these extended fights, I'm just gonna put myself in a really bad position and die early. And it's a bad play. Alright, so I'm gonna go down here. This fight's gonna continue. Bubbles ultimate went down, but it wasn't helpful. Hag ultimate out. And people are just gonna start falling over, and this fight's gonna get extended again. Hag's gonna fall down to Luna standard attacks, and now we just have pretty much Meraxis and a Luna, or Meraxis, a Luna Bushwhack bubbles up. Bushwhack has nothing, so now we have just this fat Meraxis versus this Bubbles and a Luna. And this is just gonna be standard kite, I believe. Meraxis, I think, actually could attack this Aluna and be able to push her out. Instead, he just tries to kite. Which is the bad play. Like, if he attacks her, she has to back up. Like, you can slow her and get her dead, especially because the axes are so slow, or are percent-based, I should say. Even as people scale, the axes are going to stay standard. Now, back to my point. We executed that poorly. Like, it was executed horrendously, particularly on my part. That was my fault. I could have played 1,000 times better, and it would have been a lot smoother. So I'm going to try to correct that in the future. And now their tier tower's down, and we genocide them essentially. Witch Slayer and Hag are so low level that they've respawned already, so we're not going to be able to push anything here. But we did we did what my goal was. So now I'm gonna kind of push it up forward a little bit more and get you guys a little bit farther into the game. Okay, so I just kind of want to go over the thought process and all of the different things we had going for us, because there's a lot. There's literally so many things that were going well for us that had we fought at that choke, it would have been over. So let's go with the first obvious one, right? Witch Slayer gets out of position and dies. The fight essentially starts as a 4v5. The fight is a 4v5. Witch Slayer gets no spells off. We waste nothing. I think maybe Bubble's silence was off cooldown for a little longer than it should have been when we initiate. Maybe I think 3 seconds. I can go back and check. It doesn't matter. I mean, a guy is dead. A guy is not in that fight. If we push up mid, it's a 5v5. Okay. Well, now let's talk about poor execution. And you're going to see this later, because obviously what's coming is we're going to push up mid. And there's that constant decision making of, hey, that guy's low, attack the racks, no, chase the guy down. And sometimes the right decision is to chase the guy down, sometimes the right decision is to take the racks. And that's like an active decision you have to make. But it presents the opportunity for a mistake. Right? One of those is the right decision, one of those is the wrong decision. Sometimes you're supposed to attack the racks, sometimes you're supposed to attack the tower, sometimes you're supposed to attack the guy. It depends what's up. And when you're literally in the jungle, it's just like attack the right hero. Now you have these multiple variables when you're going straight up mid, right? And the one of the bigger things is that vision, or their lack of vision. When they initiate, they don't know what's behind door number 1, you know? Meraxis is like, oh, let's run up this way. Oh, there's Parasite. Oh, wait, there's Rampage. Oh, and Bubbles. And where's the ult coming from? And this hurts. And that's huge. Whereas when they're at their choke, like right there at mid, they're shooting downhill, we're shooting uphill, that's loss. And they can see every single spell coming. You know, no one's coming from behind them. Whereas in this game, you know, we're swarming them. As we kill people, we're going to be coming from behind you, in front of you. You never know when you're too deep. You know, that Meraxis doesn't realize it's over until his entire team's dead. And he's like, oh, wow, this was a really, really big mistake. I should have backed. Whereas if that occurs up mid, he can just back into his well, full health, and just straight back into it. And now, obviously, all those things are good, right? Every single one of those things is good. But what can we take and learn from this? What I want to learn from this is try to get as many of those things before you team fight for every team fight. So this goes from, you know, early game, right? You know, if you're gonna fight, you know, bottom at a tower, try to get vision down there. If you don't have vision, you know, maybe there's a better fight to be made. You know, try to get them to come to you as opposed to you going to them. Try to get the early pick, and when you get all of these things, it helps you, because assuming equal play, if you have all these variables in your direction, you're gonna have a natural outcome. Like there, I played worse than anybody. During that fight, I played so badly, but because of all these little advantages we had coming in from like the start, that it was a 4v5, that we had vision, that they couldn't see us, we still came out on top, even though we played piss poorly. And we're gonna get better. I mean, we're going, like, you're gonna see in this next setup, like, I learned from my mistake and I played not drastically better. I played a little bit better, and these things help us. So that's kind of what I want you guys to take away. So now I'm gonna push us straight back into game. This is after I've respawned, and the question is, okay, what now? Okay, so we're a little bit farther in the game. I've just respawned. Bubbles and Aluna are still hanging out top. Wretched Hag is, you know, doing her thing. And the question is, what now? Well, normally, you know, a lot of that Rampage is still saying, we didn't really win that fight, we need to push. And the answer is, well, in a higher level game, you can argue that, because you'll have better execution, the team fights will be smoother. At this level, people are going to put themselves in worse situations and allow you better opportunity for an easier fight than putting yourself in the most difficult situation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a standard ward at Kong and grant vision. So I'm going to, get vision here to know if they're coming, and we're just going to do Kong. And the goal actually isn't to do Kong. Best case scenario is they're all off the mini-map, and someone steps out and dies, and then we can do a 3v5 push up mid and win the game. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is we get Kong, and at that point, I still think at this MMR that someone's going to make a mistake, especially after what they showed me. If that fight had not happened top, I would say, oh, you have to push with the token, they're just going to stay in their base. But you can argue to just take all of their resources. Literally just push yourselves for another, the safest play is to just, there's only so many resources on the map. If you take control of all of them, they're screwed. You can take their jungle, take the top lane and the mid lane, kind of simultaneously push. Don't ever actually go up, but just take the creeps over and over and over again. And, just farming gold until you're 1,000% sure that you want to go, and then right before the token falls off, you just push. In this case, the first thing I said that's going to happen because the MMR is going to happen. I'm gonna ward Kong here, I believe. I'm gonna ask my team, or I don't ask my team. I kind of let them know, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, because you have to nothing's universal, and if no one takes control, I tell them I'm gonna ward Kong, or I'm gonna ward, and then we Kong. And no one responds to me, so I believe I ask, yes, question mark. I think? Maybe I don't. Yes, yeah. They're kind of vaguely talking to me. Rampage is like, are we sure that's the right play? I know, at worst case scenario, there's 3 people here, no one that can hurt me too bad. So I'm safe placing this ward because there were 2 on the map. And then we step down. I believe I grabbed another ward? No, I should have grabbed another ward right there. Oh, they were all out. Haha, that makes sense. And then I say, hey guys, we need to do this, and they all step up, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty easy. And as long as you keep this lane pushed, you have vision from middle lane coming to Kong, and then that ward maintains vision there. And we'll just start to do Kong. I make the mistake of tanking it. I should have just backed out. Again, more mistakes by me, but I'll get better. And they're stepping out, and they're gonna try to defend this, and they're gonna start a fight here. I should have already stepped out, which was a mistake on my part. But I'm not gonna make the mistake where I face hug again. I believe I cast a long range. I should have just casted a long range Codex right here, because he would have been in range the entire time. But I don't. I cast it now, and then I just kind of stay back. I'm waiting for it to get up. Hex here. I'm gonna. Do I live? I have so many questions. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna live. And now we've got a 3v5 if we push, and I believe that's what we're gonna do here. And oh, never mind. It's gonna be a 3v2. We're all a little bit low, but the people. I mean, artillery might be able to keep the creep camp pushed a little bit, but I can one-shot bushwhack. So we're gonna push here. I believe I die. And then, but we took the tower. I mean, that was the goal, and a lot of them are gonna die. And now at this point, actually just fast forward it. So we're all dead, or we have enough that we're gonna back off here. This fight again is just way too long and overextended, and the chase down happens. What are you gonna do? But now we're in the position that we want to be, and that's the key. That right there, that is the key. Okay, so I just want to talk about real fast. Okay, now we're in a new position, right? We've got the tower down, Kong's still up. What's the next goal? When you're dealing with a high level player, you basically what you'd want to do here is take control of the map with vision and kind of do the same thing and do Kong. Because we're doing a low level game and they step out and get out of position, I'm going to get an easy gank. And the reason I say it's an easy gank is because one ward, literally one ward, would have, said, hey, you've pushed up too far, and now I'm coming and you're going to die. But because at this level, people get out of position so much. They put themselves in a position, and this is like the biggest thing I can like. I hope you guys take away from this is when you are standing somewhere, look on your mini map and look how many enemy heroes you can see. Then say what enemy heroes are missing, and if they are all in the fog next to you, will you be able to escape? If you can't, you need to back, or you need to find somewhere else to farm. There's a quickness with farming where, okay, yeah, maybe you need to, you have someone like Hag, you blink in, take the wave, and then back off, and it's like they never noticed you. But then there's big mistakes made where you think you can solo farm a lane, and especially with this MMR, people are going to try to do that, and you find a pick, you get the kill, and now it's an easy fight. Where, like, what's going to end up happening is where we should have had, like, what we should have had to do was ward and had another fight at Kong and given them, another opportunity to try to, like, grant a 5v5. Instead, what's going to happen is we're going to get an easy pick and just win the game. And, that's the mistakes that's like the biggest mistake that is made at this MMR level, and that's the thing you guys should be looking to take advantage of. Okay, so here we are back in game, and I have a really, really big laugh because the Rampage is saying "Let's Kong" before they do, and I'm just like, no, don't you just push mid, because that's what he's been saying all game was, guys, we need to push, and now the tower is gone, bro. And I'm pretty much just having a chuckle, because I know at this point, we've kind of, like, with that tower gone, it secures a lot of ability to initiate the fight there, which is the hardest part, especially with this MMR. You'd be surprised how powerful that tower is, just from an MMR standpoint. And and Rampage doesn't understand that I was trolling him. He's like, team pushes win. I believe here I'm just waiting for a gank so I can push and just kind of execute it. I need more wards to be up in the jungle. I see hopefully kill on artillery here. Oh yeah, I think I go for the kill on artillery. And I believe this ends the game. You guys all want to see the end of the game. I mean, it's pretty standard at this point. The game is over as that. And we're just gonna push up mid here and have an extended fight, and they're gonna CC, I believe. I tell them, hey, artillery's dead. This is easy all day. No Kong. They're demanding Kong, whatever. And this is how you win. I mean, obviously, this is gonna. I'm not gonna. There's bad play here. There's good play. Are you watching it? I'm just like, no, we need to take the racks. That's how you win. And that's how you guys need to execute games in this low MMR. And that'll be episode 5 for you guys. I believe my next episode, I'm gonna talk about warding and what vision actually brings you, and show you some of the games where I got queued up with higher level guys, like 1800s or so, and just kind of discuss why do we actually ward, and I will have that hopefully uploaded in the next couple days here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, taught you something. I definitely need to learn to parasite better, but we'll get there. Sitting at about 1630 and pushing forward, guys. See you guys next time.